Now, many are those who are repeatedly calling on the President of Ghana, and for that matter, the government of the Republic of Ghana, to cut down the size of government, as this, they believe, will bring about a lot of savings that can now be diverted or directed to other sectors of development of the economy. And of course, in the long term, that will salvage the country or make it a bit self-sufficient, so as not to go to these international financial organizations like the IMF and the World Bank to borrow monies that you and I are going to pay at huge interest in the near future. Now, one of the few organizations that has been calling on the government of the Republic of Ghana to cut the size of government is a Bolgatanga-based local governance non-governmental organizations that goes by the name TEERE. TEERE has in the recent past added its voice to calls for the expunging of the deputy regional ministerial portfolios, and as I speak today, July 2023, that has been done with. But still, the monitoring and evaluation officer of TEERE has problems, because he says that it's like government has simply done a musical chess movement, because though this deputy regional minister portfolio has been cut off, government has gone ahead to make other appointments, and that almost feels like you have flipped a page and put the same information on that page. Wedambu TV touch base with TEERE's M&E officer, Mr. Maxwell Banu, in the office in Bolgatanga, capital of the Upper East region, on the 7th of July 2023 for a conversation. According to this officer with TEERE, he says the government of Ghana can also, like it did to the deputy regional ministerial portfolio, scrap the position of municipal, metropolitan and district chief executives. As far as he is concerned, the coordinating directors at the various metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies can effectively and confidently do the work that these political appointees have been doing, suggesting that these appointees simply add on to the cost of running government machinery. According to Maxwell, he thinks that these coordinating directors can and will be able to run the assemblies effectively, because practically as it stands now, they are the ones running the assemblies, with the various political appointees as the municipal, metropolitan and district chief executives just acting as ceremonial political heads. Maxwell thinks that by his estimation, if the positions of municipal, metropolitan and district chief executives is scrapped in Ghana, the government of Ghana stands to save as much as 2,808,000 plus Ghana Cedis. I wouldn't be able to break this down. Let's see this interview that the TEERE officer granted Wedambu TV. Enjoy the ride.
Hi, my name is Maxwell Banu, and I work with TEERE as a monitoring and evaluation manager, and I also double up as the deputy chief executive officer.
What areas of interest does TEERE actually work in?
Well, TEERE works in 6 thematic areas. We work in local governance, we work in local economic development, we also work in disabled youth women empowerment, we work in the area of arts and culture, we also work in the area of peace building, and then the last one is research and development.
Much later in our conversation, I will come to you so that you give us details of how wide your intervention is across the Upper East region and which areas you are working in and what particular interventions you have there. But let's go straight into the size of government in Ghana. There was a post you made on your Facebook wall a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, that caught my attention, because this is a topical issue that many Ghanaians and other watchers of governance always put their attention on, and the ballooning or big size of government, which definitely, if it were not so, much money will be saved by the state and government for other purposes. One critical thing you said in your post is that Ghana, for a fact, will save a lot of money. For instance, if all positions of district, municipal, and metropolitan chief executives are disbanded. If this is done, what in your opinion will be the governance structure now at the local level?
All right, thank you for the opportunity to highlight this issue and picking it up. These are the sensitive issues we all need to work around, and I'm happy you've taken the step to do the follow-up. Now, the government is already complaining of its budget, and in fact, going to IMF, it was one of the issues IM was looking at. How do we minimize government expenditure and then be able to manage what we have? And so if you look at our government structure that we have, yes, we have the MMDCEs, who are the administrative heads and the political position in the district assembly. However, what do they bring to bear? All right, because this is an office that comes with a lot of monitoring requirements in terms of logistical running and even their monthly earnings. And so if you look at what they bring to bear and the work they do, and then the fact that we also have the coordinating directors there, we believe, and I believe, that the coordinating directors can equally do that work. Okay. If you remember, before the second term of the government, we championed the cause that the role of the deputy regional minister should be scrapped off. And the whole idea was that office was not bringing so much to the table, yet a lot of resources was spent. And the government truly banned that office. So in that same vein, can we save a lot of money to the government by disbanding district chief executives and then appointing the coordinating directors as the head of the district assembly, where they can report to the regional minister?
Your thinking is that all that the MMDCEs are currently doing at the various metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies can perfectly or effectively be done by their various coordinating directors, should they be absent or disbanded like you are proposing, and there won't be any hitches with governance at the local level?
No, exactly. Right now, it's the coordinating directors who are actually running the assembly. All right. So the DCEs are more of a ceremonial positions, administrative wise. All right. But when it comes to coordinating all developmental projects within the district, is the coordinating directors who are in charge. All right. So I believe they are already doing the work. And so if we are giving the mandate to be the administrative head as well, I mean, that just bring in a bit more of administrative work to what they do, which they also have the technocrats to support them, and they'll be able to do the work.
What was also interesting in your post is that you went ahead to do some mathematics about the monies government or the nation could save if the positions of MMDCs were disbanded. I think we have close to 261 district assemblies across the country, and you were estimating that the country could save as much as over 2 million Ghana cedis.
Yes, that's every month. Every month, if you are the DCs are receiving
roughly
a salary range of about 10,800 Cedis monthly. All right, so multiply that by 261 MMDCEs. All right, that brings us about almost 3 billion, 2.8 million. And this is a whooping sum that can be saved for the country.
So even if the 10,000 we are estimating they take is, let's say, it's not their take-home salary, assuming it even drops down after taxes to about 8,000 per head, and you multiply that by the 261 municipal, district, and metropolitan assembly, still a whole lot of money, millions of new Ghana cedis that could be saved.
No, that's still a lot. And mind you, that position also comes with logistics. arrangement for DC, their office, their vehicle, the fuel, accommodation, all these things. So the figure could actually be more than this. This is just their salary component we are looking at.
Okay. You mentioned earlier on that you were glad that eventually the position of deputy regional ministers has been scrapped. How difficult, how easy was that advocacy at the time? Because I remember I attended an event of yours at XT Hotel when this was forcefully put forward.
Yes, it wasn't that easy, and it didn't come easy because there were some, this was a national issue, even though we're sitting in Bolgatanga and championing the advocacy. And so organizing that event, we had to invite, resource persons from Accra. And trust me, one resource person we invite, who is a governance expert, whom we believe could have, led the discussion, turned down the invitation last minute without even a reason to tell us why he couldn't make it. Till to date, we've not heard from him. And who does this? And so we had to cancel the program and reorganize and then go in for another resource person. Unfortunately, we had Dr. Abdullahi of the Institute of Government, the Institute of Local Government Studies, who came and led the discussion in the region. And so we had to identify stakeholders and bring them on board. And then we had a discussion. All right, so it wasn't that easy, but participants at the meeting saw the need that the portfolio of deputy regional ministers did not bring much to the table, yet the resources were allocated for their office and running, which was quite a burden on the national purse. So we are grateful for His Excellency President Akufo-Addo for scrapping that position.
So are you following from the fact that the president, and for that matter government, listened to that cry of the public at the time, and today as we speak, 2023, and few years back, the position of deputy regional ministers has been scrapped? Are you and your colleague civil society organizations probably nursing the idea of escalating that by calling for the expunging of deputy ministerial portfolios at, for instance, some of the sector ministries? Mind you, some ministries have up to 3 deputies.
Yes, whilst we applaud the president for scrapping of the deputy regional minister's portfolio, but we also realize that yes, he rather double up the deputy minister's appointment at the sector ministries, which we think is quite worrying. All right, so instead of making savings for dropping the deputy regional minister's portfolio, we rather just change structures and decided to rather employ more deputy ministers at the sector ministers. So in actual fact, we didn't make much progress in terms of savings, making savings into the nation's purse.
So let's come back down here to the local governance ladder. Very soon, I think October, we are likely to have our district level elections. And now, a few years ago, we're all busy. Those in civil service, I can remember the NCCE, the Information Services Department, were everywhere on radio and doing street announcements and other campaigns for the referendum, which sought to, of course, ask Ghanaians to give their verdict for assemblymen to be elected on political lines. Now that referendum refused to see the light of day, and here we are going for district level elections again. Do you still belong to the school of thought that thinks that we should have our assembly members at the local level elected on partisan lines, or the status quo should remain?
Yeah.
And you might add your reasons. You choose any.
All right. So for me, the status quo should remain as non-partisan. Yes. And the reason being that there are people who are not affiliated to any political parties, but they have the expertise to advance the cause of governance, development. And so if we strictly make it partisan, it means such people with valuable services or expertise could be cut off. All right. And again, when it comes to development, it just doesn't take one person. And mind you, the political system we run in Ghana, most often is not based on your expertise or the qualifications you have.
The municipal and district chief executives, I think they were also to be elected, right? What would be your take on that one? Because I think that was part of the referendum.
Oh yes, yes.
Same argument.
Yes, the election can be done.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, for the MMDCEs, it can be done. Let the people decide who they want them, who they want to lead them. Okay. All right. So that decision.
On that leg.
Exactly. Yeah. And so they can be accountable to the people.
If you don't perform the next election.
No, exactly. You don't perform the next election, they have the right to get you out. We have seen instances where, I mean, MMDCs have literally been imposed on the people, and they have no say. All right, because they did not appoint them.
Worst case is those who don't reside in the area.
Not exactly. They are just parachuted from nowhere into that assembly, and then you wake up and realize that your DC or MCE is somebody you have never seen anywhere, who probably doesn't know the terrain and the issues affecting the people. All right, so once such a person comes, they are accountable to people at the top and not the down, and so that kind of system impedes development.
Okay, great. I think we've done a lot of justice to this issue regarding the cutting of government size. But before we move back to you talking about what TEERE does, there's this one. You know, when the issue of cutting government size came up, both Ghanaians and our development partners and how do we call it, the diplomatic corps, some of them also had a word for government. And one notable one was the German ambassador. Sorry, I don't recall the name of head, but the German ambassador had responded to a call by government during the negotiations of the IMF bailout, where the German ambassador said Ghana could look within by, for instance, cutting the huge size of government, and he even at the time compared Ghana's ballooning government size to his government back in Germany that was as lean as an anemic patient. What will be your opinion about these diplomats who often, I mean, express openly their opinion on issues like this?
No, I absolutely agree with some of the comments by this diplomat. You go to their country, how many ministers are they running? Sometimes you go a whole 35 ministers to run a country of population thrice that of ours. Okay, so that's what they do to manage their expenditures. And then you have a country of about 32 million. How many ministers? Okay, so I do agree that we can manage our situation and look for local solutions. What do I mean by local solutions? Every year the Auditor General put out their report. We see monies that are going wasting. We see resources are being squandered. All right, and then there is no system to recover these monies. Okay, so I'm happy that we have the special prosecutor in place who is following up on some of these issues. But then all monies that are gone through corruptions should be retrieved. So these are some of the local action we are talking about. Else, if we keep letting these loopholes drain away our resources, then it will be very difficult for us to sustain any financial strength, going forward. And this kind of system has led us to IMF. Yeah, so I believe we can take up local actions to deal with some of these issues.
Maxwell, your portfolio with TEERE again is?
Yeah, my name is Maxwell, and then I work with TEERE as the Monitoring and Evaluation Manager, and also as the Deputy Chief Executive Officer.
Great. Before we end our conversation, just give us a little education about some of the interventions that TEERE has implemented across the Upper East region, and you might want to also add the various parts of the region that you have sent your interventions to.
All right. Let me start with our local governance program. That's our main priority area. And so one other issue is that we have a district assembly election coming up in October. All right. But who is talking about it? It's been neglected. Just last 2 weeks or so, by-election, the whole country almost came to a standstill because because there's a by-election that was happening. What is happening about a local assembly election,
which is going to be nationwide?
Now you go around, every institution is talking about the 2024 general election, and so I think that is unfair. We are weakening the local governance system, and so we need to wake up. For TEERE, who were running a program supported by Star Ghana, with funding from the FCGO, to empower women, train them, profile them, and prepare them for the district assembly election. Unfortunately, somewhere along the line, we had funding challenges from the donors who are supporting the project, so it's actually on hold now, but we are still scanning around to see if we can get a bit of resources to support these women that we have already identified. Now, aside that, TEERE works in the area of peace building. As you are very much aware, Burkina is just here. There's a lot of disturbances going on, and the likelihood that they may be spilled over into our country and borders. And so we are actually championing a lot of sensitization and education across the border communities in Bongo in particular. Yes, we've also supported the disabled group by developing a monitoring system to ensure that their funds are being well managed. And I'm happy to say that the monitoring support system that we develop are being sanctioned for nationwide use. Yes, and so 3 main templates were developed out of that: a user-friendly application template, and then we have a monitoring and evaluation template for the funds management committee. They can go to the field and assess the beneficiaries, what they be doing with the fund, and also a reporting template for the funds management committee to be able to report back to the administrator general, because ever since the funds was established, I understand no report has been given to the administrator general, which was quite disturbing. And so with that project, it was also equally sponsored by Star Ghana and the French Embassy. We were able to put in that monitoring system to ensure the effective management of the disability fund.
I have to thank you for your time with Wedambu TV this Friday. I know it's been a busy week, but your last words, and then what you want to probably tell people of the Upper East region who are the immediate beneficiaries of TEERE's interventions, as well as probably a word you may have for your working partners.
Yes, the Upper East region, we are here. This is where we live, and that's the only place we have. So I want to encourage everyone to buy into peace. Without peace, there's no development. And so let's ensure that we report any suspicious, strange people in our communities to the security agencies. All right, and also let's be aware of monetization of our political system. Is betraying us of people who can really serve and deliver. How do you put in an MP or a political person who cannot represent, who cannot express himself? So let's be mindful. We are going to a political year. The district assembly election is coming on. Let's vote for people who have the competencies to do the work, so that the development that we so desire can be done.